ton of you guys have been asking me a whole lot about how I started commissions, and I tried to answer some of those in my Q&A, but then I don't think I answered it very well. So I decided to do a video with some tips on how to start your own commissions, since everyone seems to be asking. And when I say I'm going to teach you guys how to become a professional artist, I don't mean professional in the sense that your art is what people call professional. People will comment on your art and be like, wow, this looks so professional. But what I'm talking about is the word professional as in like you get paid for it, as in like it's your job, professional. So it doesn't mean you have to be amazing at art. Like I am not what you would call professional at art, because my art, you could probably find flaws in it quite often, and I do it all the time and I have to fix things, and I'm always trying to get better. So it's not professional in that sense, but it is professional in the sense I get paid for it. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I just made up 10 tips, and this is just from my experience with doing commissions. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. Number 1 is start with requests, I can't speak, and gain a following. This is pretty straightforward. Starting with requests will help a ton, because when someone comes to your page or wherever it is you're advertising your art, you need to have a backlog of things you've been working on, and maybe a backlog of requests you've done, so you can show people what it's like to get a request from you, or in this case, a commission. You need something there for people to see, or else they're going to start thinking you're hokey, you're not going to finish your work, maybe you're just like a scam, stuff like that. So it's important to have something out there. Plus, starting with requests will gain a following. It's like how I did it. I started on Roblox and started doing requests, and that gained a big following because not many people were doing that at the time on Roblox, and they were younger kids, so they probably didn't care that my art was really, really bad at the time. Like, it was really bad, but they didn't care. So even if your art isn't that good, or maybe you don't think it's that good, or you just started, try starting at a place maybe like Roblox or something with kids, and kids will probably be more interested in starting with a request and stuff like that. Number 2 is start cheap once people show interest. So when you're starting the request and you're starting to get a ton of requests, and say for instance people have showed interest that they'd like to skip the whole line and pay you for a drawing, at that point you should start cheap. So don't start with $20. maybe make your first drawings $5 and then work from there, and then that'll probably help a lot. Number 3 is make personalized art for your buyers. This is really important. Most people are going to want to buy something personalized to them. If you're selling only prints, you're way less apt to get a ton of sales. I mean, there are people out there who will buy prints, and if you're want to be one of those artists that sells their art for like a ton of money, that will work out fine. But if you're wanting to sell it for say $50, you're going to need to do more art requests or more commissions in the sake, more than just once a month. So you're going to need to make sure that you personalize it towards them, because that'll get a whole lot more sales. Because everyone always wants something personalized towards them. For instance, if they want their OC drawn, or if they want maybe themselves drawn, or something like that, you're probably more apt to get more sales. 4, try to grab attention with popular themes. This is important for if you're wanting to gain some sort of following and you're not sure how to, is to maybe do some sort of fan art, is because there's a whole lot of fans, and this doesn't have to be something that people are like, oh no, I don't want to have to draw fan art. Well, it could be something you're a fan of too. Like for instance, if you're a fan of Teen Titans, or if you're a fan of something like that, you could start with those things and then maybe take requests on fan art and stuff like that, and maybe they'll get people to your page and people will see your art because you've done something that would get them there, because you have to advertise in some sort of way. Let's see, where was I? Okay, 5, practice drawing quickly. This is important even if you're an artist that does very realistic art, or you're an artist that does anything, you can still draw quickly. And I'm not saying quickly as in like everyone has to draw in 30 minutes. What I mean is everyone, based on how their art is done, will draw quickly in different ways. Say your art normally takes you 3 months. If you drew quickly, you would be done in 1 month. See what I mean? So you would still learn to slowly get quicker and quicker. And the reason this is important, if you're doing some art that you could do, say instead of 5 hours, you could do it in 3 hours, or even 2 hours, that would save so much time and let it so that you don't have to close down your commissions, and you can just keep getting new commissions, and that would help a ton. So it's important to practice that. Number 6, raise your price based on demand. So it's pretty much you leave your price low. Say your price starts at $5. Maybe if you get a ton of demand and everyone starts buying it, you should raise the price, because you don't want to have to keep turning off your commissions. Instead of that, just raise the price. If your price is right, you could be able to keep your commissions on and keep a steady pace with them, even if your commissions are never turned off. And that's what I try to do, but sometimes it's hard to judge. Number 7, accept payment in advance. This is really important because trust me, you don't want to get scammed. And I know some people may not like this. They'll be like, no, I refuse to pay if I have to pay in advance and stuff like that. Honestly, you're better off just telling them you're not going to do it that way and let them go find someone else, because you really need to make sure you take your payments in advance and not pay like half up front and half later. Because honestly, there's a whole lot of people out there who are going to just cheat and not pay you for your work at all. So that's really important. 8 is let buyers ask for changes. I do this by sending the buyers a sketch. I send them a sketch of the drawing, and then they can change the sketch so that it's not a whole lot of work. I think that's a good way of doing it, but it also gives them some freedom, and maybe you'll get a good rep, and they'll tell their friends and be like, oh, they work so well with me, and then maybe you'll get more buyers and stuff like that, and I think that's important. But like I said, I just send people a sketch before I finish the drawing, and then after I do finish the drawing, they're not allowed to ask for any more changes. But at least in the sketching phase, they have a chance to have some changes in case it's not what they wanted. 9, advertise on social media. This is pretty much a given for any artists who are starting on social media. You should really advertise your work by uploading it on social media. And like I said, if you had fan art and stuff like that, you would probably gain a following. And then they'll see your art and be like, oh, wow, I'll get a commission. And that's just how it works. So if you're wanting to do like commissions, I recommend getting a social media account. Try and make your place look, I don't know, appealing. Make it look like sort of professional. Like I said, professional, like not actually. Like I was just complaining about how people call professional something that just looks professional, which makes no sense because professional, I always use it as in like you get paid for it. But you know what I mean. You make it look sleek and nice and stuff like that, and then maybe that will help a ton. But advertising on social media is really important, especially if you're wanting to get a lot of commissions over the internet with like PayPal and stuff like that. Let's see. Number 10, this is the last point. Shout them out on your social media. This has helped a lot with me, and it's ever since I've ever started. I started on Roblox, and when I started, I was telling people that they could just get their money. I started taking $5 on Roblox. And then when they did pay for it, even if they were just paying with the Robux, which is the online currency on Roblox, I would then say the name of the person I drew. And I'd shout it out onto the group, which was where I was getting most of my commissions. And people would buy the commissions just so that they would get shouted out, and they thought that was cool. And they would even go into the gallery, which is like a game on there, just to see their name on the picture. So I think that is a big help because a lot of people want to be part of things and they want to get a shout out. So if you do that, you'll probably get more sales just because they're like, oh, I can get shout out and stuff like that. So I'm guessing that would be a good way to go about it. But those are all my points that I wrote down. I wrote down 10 points just because I was like, I don't know exactly what to say. So when I thought of something, I wrote it down. And those are the only points I could think of. But yeah, it's really important when you start commissions to make sure that you're able to do something that is personalized to the people, especially because a lot of people want to just sell just prints. But I don't think that's a good way just to start out because 1, you're not going to have a following. And 2, prints aren't going to sell nearly as much so the only way to keep a full-time job with that would be to make sure they're expensive. And they would have to be pretty expensive prints in order to have a full-time job on just selling prints, and not many people buy prints if it's not something personalized to them. So that's why I say do something personalized. But even if you're drawing scenery, you can still make it personalized. You can say, oh, what do you want in your drawing? And they're gonna be like, I want this, that, this, you know. It could be like even Etsy people who do like little keychains and stuff like that will always have something personalized to you because they realize that gets a whole lot more sales than you just selling prints or, for instance, selling something no one knows if they want it or not. Personalizing something usually helps with getting sales. That's from my experience anyway. And if you haven't noticed, I am drawing Tom Cruise from The Last Samurai. The reason is an admin from our Discord, which you guys should make sure to join. The link is in the description. But the admin from our Discord wanted to get Tom Cruise because they have a meme going where it's Tom Cruise-san or something. And I don't know why, but they do. So that's why this is happening, if you're wondering why that is happening at all. But yeah, I was having a ton of fun with drawing this one simply because it's so weird. I rarely draw dudes with beards ever. But yeah, we're pretty much all done now. You have to let me know if you like the drawing. But also tell me if the tips were helpful. And if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to reply to them there. Hopefully. I will try my best. Thank you guys so much for watching.